All right, guys, here we're on the side of the road, as always. As you can see, it's just nothing but farmland. I guess that was my last video, nothing but farmland, I guess. I don't know, that wasn't my last video, but it's all, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's soybean or what the hell it is, cotton. But we're down in, I guess, Bailey's, the area, south and west of Raleigh, maybe 30, 40 miles, North Carolina. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm on my FZ1 because I haven't ridden it in about 3 weeks, and I wanted to ride it. And as I was riding, I'm thinking, is this a sport touring bike? Is it like more sport, more touring? More, I guess, any bike can be a touring bike. I guess not every bike can be a sport bike, but I'm trying to figure out where this bike fits in this FZ1, because obviously you have the FJ, which is more, I think, of a sport touring bike, because, there's more protection. And then there's other models to talk about, I guess, too, that are like this. But I think this is more sport. I think it's more, almost closer to super bike sport, where it's got a lot of power. Now, granted, it doesn't have the power of the newer bikes that are, all 200 horsepower and lighter. But it's got a good amount of horsepower. The motor likes to rev, feels real good, feels real fast. But and I got it looking like kind of, with the fairing, the lower fairing on it, which you never see on FZ1s, mostly only in Europe. I've never seen one in the States, but I could be wrong. But I like the bike. It's a fun bike. It's very, very, I put a quick shifter on and stuff like that. I've talked about that before. And the gear indicator, and I fixed the speedometer because that was way off, so I had that calibrated. You just buy, Heel Tech makes all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I like it. I just think it's just nothing, no traction control, no anti-lock. It's very basic bike. A lot of guys like this bike. The younger guys like to change the sprocket to get this thing to wheelie, because it'll wheelie real easy once you change the sprocket, but you got to get it into that 65, 7,000 RPM range. And, if I do a pull or something like that, it's usually about 50 miles an hour, and then the bike just takes off like a rocket ship. But yeah, we're out in this empty place area where it says posted. I guess I can't walk in here, which I don't want to, but as you guys can see, it's just beautiful. It's a cloudy day today, but it's just so quiet. And I'm like probably about, 15 miles from home, but it's just so quiet here and so peaceful. Not a car came down the road. It's just so nice. So let's get on the bike. Let me kind of close this up, because I just kind of put my my camera on. Wanted to find a nice spot to pull over and talk about it, and maybe, different areas. It's kind of cool to be in different areas. Let's start this baby up, and we're going to talk, is the FZ1 sport or touring? Which does it lean towards? More of a sport bike or touring bike? So yeah, what do I think of this bike as being is it more sport or is it more touring? I mean, Yamaha makes, I think it's kind of sporty-ish. Yamaha makes the FJR, and so that's more, I would think of a touring bike, because it's fast, but it's very comfortable, has a lot more wind protection than this. There was, I think, and I guess there's other brands that are like that, with the FJR, because the FJR is a bigger bike. It's probably another, I don't know, say 75 pounds heavier. But for me, the bikes are totally different, even though they call this a sport touring bike. I just think that it has more, that's a funny paint job on that thing. It has more of the sport in it because, okay, 581 north. I wonder if I should go this way, 581. Nah, we'll go this way. Guys, I keep apologizing because I'm just trying to get my bearings. I'm just not in this area. I just think that this is definitely on the sportier side. The bars are more aggressive, not aggressive like a sport bike, obviously, but I do lean over like I'm more in a sporty position. I don't sit straight up on this bike, but it's not uncomfortable. Where an FJR is got the bigger screen. If I put a big screen on it, the wind is it's terrible. It just makes the absolute ride just miserable, because the air just hits you right on the helmet, and I don't like the super tall ones. So this screen is kind of good for what it is. And I know the FJR, and I'm using that as an example because that's a bigger bike, and I think it's more for touring, sport touring, than this is. because I mean, it just some comes to my mind, but I'm sure there's other brands that are like that. It's a nice smooth road. This bike is lighter. It weighs roughly, with all the stuff I've taken off the bike, it probably weighs about 460. So it's a lighter bike. Yet the wheelbase is decent size. So yeah, it doesn't handle like say a ZX10 or S1000RR or something like that. So that's considered super bikes or sport bikes. So this is not even close to that in that way. But as far as power is concerned, it's just got really nice top end power on this bike, and so does the FJR. But getting back to what the differences are, I think this is definitely leaning towards sport, and I think there's two other bikes that I can think of. It's the Gixxis 1000F, very similar looking bike, but more modern than this bike, and then the Kawasaki SX, I guess the 1000. They're very similar as far as whatchamacallit, the type of fairing it has and how you sit. I think you're a little bit more comfortable on those bikes than this. The pegs tend to be a little bit higher on this than those bikes. I think it's a little bit more sporty of a feel. But I think these three bikes probably are right in the same kind of category. Similar horsepower. I think the Suzuki's a little bit better than the Kawasaki, and then the Yamaha. They claimed 150 from the factory, but I have it tuned, so I'm thinking it's like 150 at the rear wheel now, which is probably closer to 170. Some guys say it's not that much, but the tune is not worth that much. I'm going to put it on a dyno someday and try to figure it out, but I think it just, my seat of the pants, my butt dyno, it really pulls hard. Yeah, it doesn't have the low end, say, of the Kawasaki, but man, it does pull upstairs real nice, and it's just so smooth. So yeah, that's my thing as a guy. I don't understand this. I think I've talked about this. They always draw the clippings in the road instead of the other way. I don't get it, unless he's just going to blow it off. I just don't get that part. But whatever, it's not a big deal. I just go around it. But yeah, so like I say, I think this is definitely more of a sport bike than a touring bike. I think it's it's 75% sport and maybe 25% touring, because there are so many better bikes that are fast, that are good for touring. Like I said, the FJR. I mean, you could take you want to talk about the Kawasaki H2 SX. What the fuck is this? What is this? Holy crap, is he dumping shit all over the road? I don't know if my camera picked it up, but it's fucking everywhere. I don't know what the hell it was, but it's everywhere. But this bike is just so nice on a roll. I mean, it's just so smooth. It gets up to 100. I wasn't sure even what it was at, but it just gets up to speed. So nice, so smooth. It doesn't yank the wheel off. Depending where you're sitting and when you give it full throttle, that will dictate if the wheel's going to come up or not. But yeah, the whatchamacallit, it's just like I said, this bike is definitely on the sportier side. I don't know if I would want to. I mean, I could ride this thing all day, but it ain't the most comfortable. My GS is so much more comfortable than this bike as far as if I want to tour. I guess you could. I've seen guys put bags on these bikes, but not me. To me, this is my old man's sport bike, because the way the bars are. Like I said, I'm always in a lean forward position when I'm usually riding. Now I'm kind of sitting straight up because I'm just doing a video, but I tend to ride like this. I don't know if you can see the difference with the camera angle, and then I'm always with my toes, so I have my legs are kind of pushed up. So I just treat it like I said, it's an old man sport bike. It's very forgiving. The only thing it's lacking for me is cruise control. But man, I love cruise control. But this is an old bike. I tried putting a mechanical one on, but it doesn't work. And a quick shifter is it's just a cool bike. It's very well balanced, as you can see. I got no hands. It's extremely well balanced. It doesn't pull to either side. It's yeah. So that's I mean, you can throw it out what you think a sport touring bike is or what it should be, but it really covers a lot of different bikes, from the heavier sport touring bikes to the light sport touring bikes. I just think this is just Maybe a Hypersport? No, that's not right. I don't know. Yeah, you guys know what I'm doing now. So this, we're doing about... Wow, my drag strip broke. I tell you, man, I think it was like 100. And this speedometer is dead on accurate because with Heel Tech, they have a speedo. It's just a speedo heel or whatever they call it, and it's dead on with the GPS. So whatever that was reading, that's what I was going. It just gets up to speed, like from a 40-mile-an-hour roll, 50-mile-an-hour roll. This bike is just a beast. But it can catch you. You know, you can get caught out on a bike that with more torque. If you're not in the right gear. I remember doing a roll race with my buddy with a 1290 Super Duke, and second, third gear pulls, he just ate me up. I just couldn't get with him. But if I did a first gear pull with him, I stayed right with him, or I don't know, maybe he missed something, but I was like a wheel ahead of him, and he couldn't get by me. And that's, you're talking about a Super Duke, got a lot of power. This wheelhouse is at, it's when you get, you know, I guess about 65, really 7,000 is the wheelhouse. You want to be in you want to be at 7,000 when you want to crank that throttle, and it's just a fun bike, and it's very, very smooth. I've never had any, the front end gets a little light, but no wheel, no wobble, no handlebars, nothing wobbling. It's a very smooth bike at speed. So I guess that's where the touring comes into, because it's smooth. Yeah, you feel a little vibration, but it is smooth. But it doesn't have enough wind protection for me for touring. It's not like my GS. I've never been on an FJ. It's just not, or even like, you know, I would call a K1600 a sport touring bike, or even a RT, you know, BMW, the RT is the 1300 newer, they're sport touring bikes. But nah, this is not, I don't want to classify it. I mean, some of you guys will say that, but I'm not classifying this as a sport touring bike. This is just a, I don't know. To me, it's a sport bike, and it's on the on the more comfortable end of a sport bike. I wish they had that's the problem. There's just too many categories. The bikes overlap everything. I mean, there's so many bikes that overlap the type of riding you do. And obviously 90% of all the bikes you buy you can do, or maybe 80%, you can do anything you want. You can tour with it. It depends how much you want to deal with the weather. So you can tour with a bike. Even my triple, you can tour with it. You know, when I compare this to the triple is fun. It's a little more agile. It's more playful. But this just has that outright speed, and you feel so comfortable. Like at 120 miles an hour plus on the triple, I'm laying on the tank, and it's you know, you can feel it pushing you. With this, even with the small screen, I just tuck in like this, guys, and it's a freaking beast. I'm just so comfortable, and it's so smooth and so confident. You know, I've had it to 150. I think she'll go 170, but I just haven't been any place where I can do 170. Maybe someday I'll get a video on that. But yeah, you guys can let me know what you think. I need to make a video because I haven't made one in a week, and I just want to know, is this type of bike a sport touring bike, or is it just really a sport bike? Kind of an overgrown, comfortable sport bike. That's what I want to call it. It's just a comfortable sport bike. That's for me, guys. I know there's a lot of different bikes out there. I'd like to know what your guys' favorite bike is for touring. Not for touring, for. I want to know what your favorite bike is for. So I get through the stop sign. For being sporty, but being comfortable. What is the best compromise? Yeah. I know a lot of these younger guys can handle the clip-ons and everything. I like this. I like that. That's a right-hand drive car. I don't know I forget what make that is, but those little pickup trucks are cool. I want to know what do you think is the most comfortable sport bike? And I'm leaning towards more of the super, you know, the super bikes, because I'm looking at 1 liter bikes. I mean 1 liter bikes or something bigger. What do you think is the more comfortable? I mean, I guess one of the most ideal ones would be, that pops in my mind, that's probably one of the fastest besides the Kawasaki SX H2. You know, that's the $30,000 supercharged, everything it has on it, is that, which you can get on a good deal, is a Super Duke GT 1290. That's probably one of the best all-around bikes you can have if you want performance and a sporty ride, but still have comfort. But for an old bike, I like it. I hate to get rid of this bike. I don't want to get rid of it unless something really comes up that's different, that can compare to this. But this bike, it's just so inexpensive overall compared to the other bikes, and it just gives me so much fun. I mean, the seat is kind of firm, but it's not uncomfortable on long roads. In fact, it's more uncomfortable in my first 10 minutes on it than me sitting on it after a while. I just noticed this a lot lately, because the more I ride it, the more comfortable the seat is, which doesn't, I don't know if it makes sense or not. But yeah, so that's it. That's it, guys. I just wanted to talk sport touring. Is it sport? Is it touring? Which one is it? I think I've already called it, guys. It's sport. It's comfy sport. Maybe I'll put that as my headline, as my, wait for these cars. That's going to be it. It's going to be comfy sport. Now it just sounds so good. Okay, guys, as I go into this turn, hopefully there'll be no construction here and I won't go down, because this is just almost a 90 degree. It doesn't look like it, but you're not supposed to be giving it fuel on it, but I do anyway. And yeah, all right, guys, later.